good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Wisdom Transmissions Live. Glad to see you're all here today. We're going to have a really great webcast today. Today, I'm not going to be bringing in Adronis for a presentation. I'm going to be sharing my own perspective on an incredible experience I had just a couple of nights ago in my conversation with the Earth. So we're going to be getting into that very shortly with announcements. Announcements are going to be coming right after my conversation here. Then we'll be getting right into Q&A. So if you guys do have any questions regarding any topics that you want to look into, feel free to post that. You can also leave a donation, and that will put your question in priority sequence. So I'll be getting to announcements here shortly. But first and foremost, looking into my conversation with the Earth. So it was actually just a couple of nights ago. What I would do is I would just be in my front room. I'd have some headphones on, playing some Delta brainwave state tracks. I'd have a blindfold on, and I just wanted to go very, very deeply and connecting a lot more into the deeper Delta brainwave state. And as I did, I started connecting a lot more deeper to the Earth. I would just put my hand on the floor. I'd feel my connection with the Earth. But what I would also do is I would just feel a cord coming out of the perineum and going directly into the Earth. I would also start to work with my breath as I inhaled and exhaled, expanding my energy just across the entire planet as well too. As I started to get into that state of being, I could feel the Earth with me. The Earth was communicating with me, looking at certain types of key words that were coming into my mind. So I was basically asking the Earth questions, and I would feel keyword replies, right? Anger, hatred, this, that, etc., etc., etc. So I would get all of these barrages of keywords, of one-worded based answers, and it would just keep going. It would keep going into that flow. A little bit later on, it would start to move out into kind of short sentences or into explanations. So this was how the Earth was communicating with me. She was basically just taking certain keywords of language and just sharing that with me. It's almost like you could hear many voices over you saying these particular types of words. So with the conversations that I had with the Earth, one of the things I was asking her is about the situation that's happening right now with all the intensities that are taking place across the planet, with all of these changes, these significant changes, with people facing all of these intensities across the planet. What can be shared about that, right? And she was just giving me a barrage of different one-worded answers. So a lot of it was hatred, anger, freedom, resistance, passion, pain, suffering. So she was really just throwing all these barrages of different meanings towards me. And it's kind of like you're looking at a cloud, and you have this cloud of different emotions, and that is really what the Earth signifies. She's not just representing a singular emotion. She's representing a flurry of different emotional states. And she was just naming off a lot of these one-worded answers to me, right? And pain, anger, suffering, growth, expansion, contraction, right? It's like one answer would be given, but then there'd be another answer that's given that would represent the complete and total opposite, or even contradictory to the word that she just previously stated. So I'm just getting all these flurry of different words. It's kind of like looking at thoughts. But in the majority sense, from what I was getting, because she shared a lot with me, the majority of what I was getting is that this is a transformative time. It is going to be very painful for some. It is going to be debilitating for others. It is going to be expansive for many, right? So it's kind of like I didn't have a notebook with me. I wasn't writing down the answers. I was just basically in this state, connecting with the mother, just asking her questions. And I would just get this flurry of different one-worded answers. So I'd ask in that sense about these current events that are taking place, these intense events that are taking place. But in a nutshell, she was saying that this needs to happen. This is all part of a cleansing. It's a cleansing time. It's time to clean up all of this. It's time for everything that represents evil or corrupt to leave the planet. And in order for this to happen, a lot of this needs to be exposed. It needs to be exposed to the point where it even goes back to what I've shared, is that through tragedy comes unity. That's exactly why all of this is happening. These need to be extremely intense events that are shaking the very landscape of what we have placed upon the planet, and they need to be brought out so that people can come together. They can unify, right? It's kind of like what we're seeing with the UK riots right now, where there's so much violence, there's so much, miserable situations going on there. But at the same time, we're seeing how people are uniting. We're seeing how they're coming together. We're seeing how, again, people in the hundreds of thousands and even in the millions will start to unite, will start to come together. They will admit that the system is broken, and they will stand together. That's the entire point of why these events are happening. It needs to become so intense, it needs to become almost traumatizing to people, where they said, okay, police aren't doing anything, law enforcement is not doing anything, government is not doing anything about this. We're going to have to take matters into our own hand as a united people. That's it. That's the lesson. That's exactly what the earth is saying, is that, again, as these situations unfold that are terrifying, that are intense, that are tragic, we're getting unity out of it, right? And people are coming together. It does not matter about the color of their skin, does not matter about their culture, does not matter about their creed, does not matter about their religious background, whatever it may be. Everybody's coming together. They're realizing the police aren't helping. All these particular agencies that are supposed to respond to this are not helping. They basically want to see the entire country burned down. But there's us, right? There's us, and we can work together, and we are the power now, and we will make it happen. Perfect. There's the lesson. There's the lesson. Now that the lesson is there, now that there's unification, things are going to start changing. And it's going to be like that with many different countries all over the world. There will be such a fire. There will be such an intensity. There will be such a quickening of these tragedies that are just happening all together so quickly that it's attempting to get people to unite, to come together, and to take matters into their own hands. Beautiful. We're getting to understand the lesson. So that's really what the earth is sharing. She's basically showing everything that is corrupt is going to be taken out. Anything that, anyone that has nothing but corruption and black-heartedness and wants to harm and wants to maim and basically just has this parasitic consciousness, they have to go. They're not going to be here. They're gonna be leaving the earth. And that's she was very adamant about that. There's a lot more that she shared, but I'm just talking about this part first. So everything that represents the darkness of humanity, right? A lot of these beings that are causing these things aren't even human, right? This is something that goes a lot more deeper than what we may realize. That when you have these particular people orchestrating these situations with violence, with vicious intent, with, again, parasitic agendas, these are not even human beings. They walk like humans, but they're not human. And that's really what's happening right now, is they're being purged from the earth. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands of them right now that are being purged from the planet. And like I said, there's been this hidden war behind the scenes. A lot of it's the Third World War with my friends. This has been happening way before there was even a Second or a First World War. This has been something this has been the war, so to speak. This goes back thousands and thousands of years with the idea of this infiltration upon the planet. So it's not appropriate to refer to it as a Third World War. It is a hidden war, it's a shadow war. It's something that's been happening for such a long time, and now it's about to reach a climax. As it's reaching a climax, like I said, you're going to get these people who are basically just hosts that are deviously creating these agendas. But what they don't realize is they're creating the very transformation of awakening that they have feared the most. They've created it. They think that they're trying to separate, they're trying to control, they're going to pump the world with so much anger and hatred and violence and corruption, What they don't realize is they're creating the very thing that they are absolutely terrified of. And that's unification, that's free speech, that's justice against them. This is what I'm saying, is that their ignorance is so thick and they are so blind. Now, if we keep pushing this, if we make it more fearful, if we give them more fear, that's all they know how to do. They know how to just basically push more fear onto people, put more control here, try to lock down this, and you need to do this, and you need to obey this, and you need to obey that. And all they're doing is they're just throwing all of these states of forcefulness that is just adding an extra foot to their grave, right? They're digging out their own grave by this. They don't understand that what they are doing is creating such a tremendous awakening across the planet. It is so monumental. It's going to be their end. It's going to finish them. So that's exactly why all these intense events are happening when it comes to shakeups, when it comes to weather changes, when it comes to, again, riots, when it comes to the idea in that sense of trying to egg on wars, viruses, diseases, everything, right? People are getting outraged. They are trying to turn to their elected leaders and nothing's being done. They're trying to turn to their law enforcement and nothing's being done. They're being turned to other agencies and nothing's being done, right? They have been completely and totally shut off from what they thought was their support systems, because these support systems are going along with the agenda. People are realizing that now. This is why you see videos where people are like shouting for police officers and they're doing the complete and total opposite of what they're supposed to do. This is why people are saying the system is broken. System is broken. We have to take the matters into our own hands. You got it. Right? 100% correct. It's exactly why all these things are happening. This is all part of a greater transformation taking place on the planet. This is part of a deeper agenda. And the agenda really is just unite the people. Let the people be united. Let the people take the matters into their own hands. No longer trying to hand this off to some type of support system that is in on it. Okay. Now, from a lot of other things that the earth was sharing with me is that, she loves her children. She loves her children very much. We are her children. But she's really pissed off with her children at the same time. Okay. She is very upset with how we behave. She is very upset with how we treat her. She is very upset how we treat each other. She is very upset about how we live, right? We're just living in the modern society and we're surrounded by all this technology that is poisoning the environment. She is very angry with us, a lot of us, okay? And I'm not discluding anybody that's here, right? She's mad at you. Okay? And what that means is that she says that you have lost touch with nature, right? There may be some of us here that are connecting with nature a lot more, doing our part, but that's great. But the whole idea is that she is giving all of us this bounty of herself. And she has been mistreated for thousands and thousands of years. She has been molested. She has been raped. She has been mutilated. She has been tortured. Even up to this very day, those have not stopped. She says, I love my children, but I am extremely angry with all of them, pretty much all of them, right? Because they have not stood up to this. They have not made change. They are not going back to the earth. They are not trying to work together with her, right? And like I said, I'm not speaking to all humans, but pretty much most of them are like this. And so she's quite upset. And so it's not to say that she doesn't love us. She loves us so much. That's why we're still here. She didn't love us, she would have blasted us off her planet long ago, right? But it's because she loves us that we keep going. But she is upset. She is angry. She is sad. She's just depressed in many different ways. But she's also elevating herself up to a higher consciousness because that's exactly what she's doing. I was even talking to her about third to fourth density. And like I said, guys, I'm just giving you a perspective here, right? But I was talking to her about third to fourth density. And she was really saying that, yes, transformation is taking place. And I asked, well, when we're looking at the third and fourth density, we're kind of looking into a dream plane. Are we moving up to that type of dream plane reality? And she said, eventually, not yet. But she is moving up the bar. kind of like subdimensionally, sub-density based, and our bodies are changing. Our bodies are changing, DNA is changing, and there will be those of us who will go along for the ride. You're tuning into the earth, you're working with her, and you're going along for the ride. But a lot of people, I mean, the majority of the people on the planet, don't know how to do this, and that's why she's upset with us. You should know how to do this. You should know how to go along with the earth. You should know how to tune into her and let yourself come with her. As she travels upwards, you travel with her. Very few people are doing this. Okay? And you're going to need to do this. So it's about taking more time to connect with the earth. It's taking more time to connect with her soil, to connect with her nature, to connect with her vegetation, to connect with the animals, to connect with everything, connect with the water, connect with the air, connect with the land. That's what this is all about. And the fact that they have not been doing this, not the majority of us, is extremely upsetting to her. This is why she's very angry with us. This is really what we have come here to do. We have functioned to be stewards of the earth, and we have lost our way. Completely lost it. We are so upset over these mundane things relating to human systems. We have put human systems ahead of nature systems, and she is angry by that. We have decided to put more attention to affairs that represent human interest rather than the interest of the entire world, and she's upset about that. We have spent so much time creating this technology and letting this technology happen that has caused for many particular species on this planet to become extinct. And she is very upset by that. Humanity is not supposed to go this way. And it has. So she's mad, right? And she's mad at a lot of us for letting that happen. But right now, this is an opportunity to redeem ourselves, to start caring about the earth. It's like when Adronis came in last week and he was talking about the human guardians. And he was even saying that the human guardian's first task is to the earth. It's not to you. Okay? You're second. The earth is first. And that is how we have to start living. You have to put the earth first, because guess what? There will be no humanity if you don't care for the earth. If there's no earth, there's no humanity. Right? You can't just put humanity first and thinking that we're running the show and that we're this and we're that and we're the hottest thing since sliced bread, and everything else that around us is dying. This needs to change. And that is exactly why she has been very, very vocal, so to speak, with me about how she is very upset with her children. Right? She loves you. She loves you very, very much. She loves you more than you could ever possibly imagine. But she's pissed off with you at the same time. Okay? It's like a mother, again, who's just in her house. She's raised all of these children, and the children come in and they just completely take advantage of the house. They trash the house. They tell their mother to shut up and blah, 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 blah. And, she's trying to help them and support them along their life journey. And all she's being told is just to shut up, get out of the way, pushing her out of the way, trashing the place while they come in, and then they leave. Now, how would a mother feel like that? How would they feel after having a bunch of children who she's personally raised that comes into this mansion, this beautiful home, and trashes it? And basically just, if she tries to speak, they don't want to hear it. They tell her to shut up. They push her aside. They even start to hit her at times. How do you think that mother is going to feel? Well, there you go. That's exactly how the earth feels right now. We need a wake-up call, people. We need to really wake up here and see exactly the beautiful world that we are a part of. Just showing your love to the earth. I'm not saying you need to go start a gigantic garden or you need to be a Samaritan or anything of that nature and run off and jump in the forest and take all your clothes off and do rituals in the forest. Really what it is that you're showing your love to the mother every day. And if you're doing this, great. You're doing exactly where you are exactly where she wants you to be. And if you're not doing this, then this is what you need to incorporate into yourself. You need to show the love that the mother has given you, right? She's not asking for anything, monumental in return. You could never repay what the earth has given you. That's impossible. Okay? She has given us everything. And we have taken her for granted time and time and time again. And all this is about is just taking a moment and speaking to her, talking to your mother, talk to her through the trees, talk to her through the animals, talk to her through the air, talk to her through the water, talk to her through the land. This is what she was sharing with me. And she was bold. Best way I can put it is that she was very, very bold. And it's even on me as well too. There's times too where I'm neglecting the earth and I'm spending so much time with my work and all that, and I'm not giving her that love, right? Because there's so many other things that are happening. And that's on me as well, right? I'm just as much to blame as anybody else who has not connected with the earth in this way. And we have to make a change. We have to shift. We have to realize that it is the earth that is providing all of this for us. Everything that you love in your life is because of her. Everything, right? Your car, your house, your bank account, your computer, your phone, everything. That all comes from the earth, right? Your family, your friends, they're all part of the earth as well too. Everything that you hold dear in life is because of the earth. And that is what you have to realize. And you need to make a change, right? And this is my conversation with the earth. There are other things that we talked about, but really this is the whole idea, is that yes, we are shifting. Yes, we're moving up another octave pertaining to a higher level of frequency, but we have to get through the mud first. And she is inviting every single one of her children to join her as she moves up this way. And really what that takes is just being able to spend time and connect with nature. Our ancestors knew how to do this. We have lost it, right? Majority of us have lost this beautiful connection that is so incredibly important. I can't emphasize enough how important this connection is. And we have lost that way. We're just so enamored with so many other things on this planet that doesn't mean a damn thing when it comes to putting the earth first. So this was her message. This is what she was sharing. Children, I love you, but I'm very upset with how you have been conducting yourselves. I'm very upset that you have let all of this happen. I'm very upset that very few of you are actually tuning into me and helping yourselves to move where I'm going, because I want to take as many with you as I can. You're my children, right? Are we doing that? We certainly aren't. So these are the changes that she's telling us about. There's significant changes on the planet. The next few months are going to be extremely intense. This is not slowing down by any means. You are basically going to be going through a ring of fire. You're going through a ring of fire. You are going to see that all of your support systems that you have held so dear aren't going to do a damn thing for you. And things are going to change, right? You see all these things happening. You go to these agencies, they're just going to go along with the plan, right? That's all part and parcel of what is taking place here. It's all part of transformation. It's what I've said for years. Not a single stone is being left unturned. Everything is going to change. Everything is going to shift. You are going to see people for who they truly are. You are going to see agencies for who and what they truly are. You're going to see how they are bought and paid for. And you're going to be left together with uniting with the people. And the people are going to make differences. And the leaders that stand up, that are going to be elected leaders, are going to be the ones that speak with the people. It's not going to be these people with hidden agendas. It's not going to be these people that have nothing but ill will towards humanity, ill will towards the earth. They will not have a chance of getting into authoritative power. All of that's going to change. So this is what I've been getting. This is just kind of a nutshell of a lot of the things that I was getting through the earth. It is a intense time. It is an intense situation that we're going through. There is a whole ring of fire that we are moving through. We are seeing earth changes. And I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I'm letting you guys know what's ahead, because we have the opportunity to soften all of these things when we come together. Because when you come together, there is that dedication. You are being resolute together. You become solutionists, right? And now the people start coming together, And now they are the agencies. Now they are the support system. Now they are the unified consciousness. And that is so powerful. You're making the earth smile when that happens. Okay. That's what she wants to see. She wants to see her family united, right? Coming together. And like I said, we're basically just stomping out all of these old flames that represent parasitic intrusion, because this world has been infested by grotesque parasites for the past many thousands of years that are now just at the verge of being stomped out. And we have to be steadfast with that. So in a nutshell, like I said, this is exactly what the earth was sharing with me. It was a wonderful conversation. I had quite a few conversations with her, but she's telling me that yes, our DNA is changing, our bodies are shifting, we are moving up into a higher, you could say like a higher sub-density. It's kind of like we're becoming a fourth density compliant planet. It's what I was talking about back in 2016, is that Earth is much more in the ripe energies now of being a compliant fourth density planet, which means you're not a fourth density planet per se, but you're moving much more into those higher rungs of different frequencies that are putting you parallel with that particular type of vibration, with that type of dimension. So that is very much happening, because I was asking her, she was very insistent about this. No, your DNA is changing. Your body is changing. You are shifting. You are metamorphosizing. You are going through incredible transmutation. You are going through incredible transformation. Even if you don't think so, it doesn't matter. You are being transmutated. That's what's happening right now. The earth around you is transmuting. She's showing so many pockets of different dimensions that are coming together at the same time. That is why some people are able to take photos and all of a sudden they have another moon in the sky. All of a sudden there's another sun in the sky. It's because you're going through dimensional pockets. You're going through shifts. Everything's shifting. It's like looking at this ball of liquid metal, so to speak. It just keeps shifting. It keeps moving. It keeps becoming fluid. And what's happening is you're actually tuning into different dimensions. You're tuning into overlays of different Earths that may have different moons, that may have, again, connections to other celestial bodies, that may have another sun. You are actually going through overlays of different dimensional Earths, congruently connecting together with this Earth that is almost like, again, a sphere of liquid metal. Everything is just shifting and shifting and shifting. That's all part of the process. Everything that represents these, you could say, alternative Earths or parallel Earths are shifting at the same time, because everything is getting the mixture of this energy. Veils are thinning, veils are shifting, veils are transforming, and that is why you will find phenomena on this planet. Certain people will take videos of it, where they will see things that in our native world doesn't belong there. Well, because what you think is a native world isn't the real world. You have to look at the collaboration of all the other Earths that are working together with this one. They're all shifting, right? They're all flowing. They're all moving. They're all transitioning. They're all changing. That's why we're seeing things that should not really be there from how we understand our native Earth. And it's flux. It's not going to last. But those are the fluctuations where people will come to you and say, Brad, I've seen a second sun in the sky. I've seen another moon. I've seen like a moon that's kind of like more red or more purple. What's going on? Well, you're shifting through other dimensional Earths. There's flux going on. That's what's going on. This Earth that we understand, to think that she's the only Earth, is nothing but an ignorance. Right? We are looking at the totality of what she represents, because that's going to be the future. You will be able to start looking into different Earths. You will be able to be part of different Earths that may have different moons in the sky, that may have more than one sun, that may have cities in the sky, whatever it may be. You're going to be able to fluidly visit these different Earths, not right away, but over time. And that's basically what it is to live in a fourth density Earth, or at least a fourth density compliant planet. You are able to go into different parallel spheres of the Earth and seeing different conjectures of Earths coming together. It's beautiful, really is. So that's why we have all this strange phenomenon taking place, where we're looking at different celestial bodies, where we're seeing cities in the sky, where we're seeing different creatures that really shouldn't be there, that are there. Fluctuation. That's what we call the earth flux, right? The earth flux is shifting. Everything is shifting. You guys can look at this yourself if you don't believe me. That's really what's happening. We're shifting through the fluctuation of dimension. Again, not permanent, but again, it's temporary. It's like a fluidic fluctuation where we're noticing some of these worlds within our own worlds that are showing themselves, even if just for a short amount of time. Okay, so there you go, everybody. That was my conversation with the earth. We're going to go ahead and move on now into announcements. After announcements, we'll be getting right into your questions. So like I said, if you do have any priority questions, you can feel free to leave a donation. But we'll be back here in a few moments as we start announcements. Here we go.
Private one-to-one sessions have returned with Brad Johnson and Adronis, with appointment times from 30, 45, and 60 minutes online. Offline sessions, including the 3 questions by email and distance healing, are now available. Book your session now through our website, wisdomtransmissions.com.
Get readings with Brianne and be astonished at the depth and accuracy she provides for you through her tarot readings. Brianne can create crystal grids for distance healing, plus offer Reiki and Kundalini attunements. She is also a certified Flying Star Feng Shui consultant. Visit Brianne's website and book your session today at readingswithbrianne.com.
Radiate Regen Centers are expanding our reach around the world, and we want to give back through our new referral affiliate program. You can earn a large income referring your contacts who would be interested in purchasing Radiate Regen industrial strength technology for commercial business as well as private home use. Spread the word and generate a commission of $360 USD per successful referral. To begin earning today as a referral affiliate, visit radiateregen.com/referral.
Source Energy enhanced products to repair and rejuvenate the body. From the power of light to crystals to bed kits, card decks, and more. View our free samples, tutorials, and testimonials on our website, etherx.co.
And of course, we have the Patreon for Adronis. This has been really wonderful. He has really been giving some tremendous discourses. We just had our second class this past Sunday. And if you are part of Patreon with Adronis, you can access those classrooms. You can be a part of the classrooms. You can also, again, ask questions, and Adronis will come through video and answer your questions if it's beyond the classroom. So again, there's a lot of great benefits and features of the Patreon Adronis website. So you can check that out, patreon.com/Adronis. It's only $18 a month to start. You'll also have a 7-day free trial that will begin. So you'll be able to access a free class by signing up. So check that out, patreon.com/Adronis. You are also in the Vancouver area. I'm going to be doing a Radiate Spectrum Instant Body Healing Experience. So this is going to be happening at Vancouver Science World on August 25th. You'll find the link to the event in the video description, and you can sign up there. So Radiate Spectrum, it is a powerful guided meditation utilizing the Radiate Regen technology. You can use the promo code RADIATE and you get 5% off ticket price. This is happening August 25th. Check it out. Again, link is in video description. Okay. Also with Etherics, with the healing code cards, they have been updated. They've been optimized, which means they are now 300% much more powerful and are amplified at a 300% level. So they are much more stronger than before. So if you already have your healing code cards decks, your Etherics card decks, they've already received the update. If not, then you can grab them on etherics.co. They are 30% off. I'm going to be making some changes to the Taurus bed kits as well, too. The sleeping kits, the bed kits that are still available. For those of you who already have the Taurus bed kits, you will instantly receive this update coming up on Friday. And that is where I'm implementing the Astral Healing Hand technology into all of the factors of the bed kit, making it even much more optimized and stronger. So more information is coming up on Friday for that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead now and move forward with questions. Okay, so if you guys do have any donation-based questions, you can feel free to put that down, and that will bring you into priority sequence. Okay, otherwise we're just going to go up and down through the list here. Okay, so this one here, first one is from Kamal. So I will be bringing Adronis in momentarily. So if you do have questions for him, you can ask. So Kamal says, question, can Adronis look into India-Pakistan war that might happen in 2027, according to some? Well, we can look into that, but again, like I said, these are only possibilities. Really, what I would suggest is that whenever you're looking into these things, you have to understand that these things are potentials. I'll get Adronis to talk about it here in a moment. But these represent the idea of potentialities. They are not certainties, right? They are not actualities. So a lot of people may say that, but like I said, we have the power to change all of that. We have the power to end pretty much every single war on this planet if we come together, if we start unifying, if you start working together with others and you start collaborating, right? Really all this world needs is that purity of love, that purity of compassion, the support, the energies of encouragement. That's really what this world needs. When there's more of that, people will lose the will to fight. People will lose the will to be inflamed and be angry and wanting to start war. All of that will end, right? I'm certainly doing what I can to help out with that, to basically bring a lot of love, happiness, joy, peace around the entire planet, not just through guided meditations, but even in my own time as well. So that's something very important. Don't worry about getting too transfixed on these possibilities of what's happening, right? Because everything can change. Even the great prophets of the ancient past prophesied certain things that have not come to pass because we've gone through significant change. We've made something better. So that's very important to understand. So yes, I will go ahead and bring Adronis in, and he can talk about the possibility of an India-Pakistan war that might happen in 2027. But like I said, that is only potentiality. Okay, one moment, and I'll bring him in. Soul Star. Adronis. We are here. At this time, we bid you greetings and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this broadcast through your internet collective consciousness. We would like to ask all of you at this time to simply let yourselves get relaxed, get comfortable, and tune in to the vibrations of Sirius so that you may synchronize, harmonize, and align to all of the information that we have to share. Also understand that all of the information that we shall provide today is simply that of our perspective, our point of view. For all knowledge, all information, all creation itself resides within your very hearts, beings, and souls. We thank you very much, Kamal, for your question. One moment as we are scanning your subcontinent of India. Now, India is going to be going through quite a few challenges over the span of the next few years because it is also going through an intense flushing. This intense flushing is going to, shall we say, feel quite convoluted to the people of India because there are those who are very much transfixed in the old ways representing your subcontinent. And there are also those that are trying to think things in a new way, that want to branch themselves out of India. Now, in regards to the potentialities of what is taking place right now, it is very likely that India, in that sense, will be having challenges in regards to its neighbors. All right. And that's simply because of the idea of the leadership that is taking place upon India right now. Leadership needs to change. Perspectives need to change. And what that means is that there needs to be a bonding of unity. There needs to be a hearing of new ideas. There needs to be new innovations that will come forward through India itself. Rather than being stuck and transfixed in old ways, that are basically, in that sense, not able to hold up. In that way, we would say that many of your delegates and leaders within India are stuck to traditions and the past, where are those who are trying to bring forward new ideas, making the country of India even greater, but are basically being shut down. And this is why there has been divisions in the past through the idea of the example of the formation of Pakistan, because of the idea of how India has been, sticking in regards to old traditions, sticking to old beliefs, basically being very, very hard in the mind. So we will say that there will be complications, but if we are looking into the idea of a war, we would say no. All right. Complications, confrontations, challenges, yes. But the idea of an all-out war that is being declared between India and Pakistan, very unlikely, because there are going to be significant changes taking place between now and up to that time, as you turn 2027, that is going to lead much more to, shall we say, a resolution. So India does have a lot of changes to take place, yes. There are a lot of transfixed ideas that India has that has kept it from growing further, yes. But this is something that is actually going to be looked at. So we would not say an all-out war. We would say that there are tensions, yes. There are complications, yes. There are even conflicts, yes. You're correct about that. But the whole idea in that sense of an all-out war happening between Pakistan and India, we do not see that happening. That is very, very unlikely from how we read the energies right now. Again, seeing things boiling up, seeing things intensifying, seeing things moving into a conflict, but the idea in that sense of a declaration of war that will cost the lives of millions, no. That is something that is going to be averted. All right? We thank you very much for your question. Okay. There you go, Kamal. Hope that was helpful for you. So again, like I said, all we're giving here is perspective, but I was getting something very similar to that. So I don't see the idea of there being war drums hitting and Pakistan going to war with India. There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of heat. But there's going to be a lot of resolution that is going to take place between right now and moving into that potential future. Okay. Thank you for your question. All right, here's one here from Samar. Samar says, can Adronis talk about the opening of the navel chakra? Okay, one moment. We thank you very much, Samar, for your question pertaining to the idea of the opening of the navel chakra. Well, firstly, you have to understand that all of the chakras should be opened up together in sequence, starting at the level of the root, and then moving all the way up into, as you term, Anya chakra. But when you are moving into the nature of connecting with the navel chakra, or again, as you term, Manipura chakra, this all has to do with your willpower. This all has to do with your resolute nature. This all has to do with your sense of self. And it can be convoluted by greed. It can be convoluted by guilt. It can be convoluted by the impairment of despair, of great fear, thinking that you are not in control of anything. You are not in control of your life. You are not in control of your own directions. You are not in control of your own path that you walk. That is what hinders the navel chakra altogether. So what we suggest is that you are giving love to the chakra. And by doing this, you are doing something as simple as Om chanting directly into the chakra. The Om chanting within the chakra, which is commonly referred to in yoga as Om Japa, is what's enabling a lot of that inner turmoil to subside. As you do this continuously, you will notice that the navel chakra will start to release. And you will notice that there is a natural confidence that comes together with you because you will be at peace with such turmoils that we have previously mentioned. So that's the idea of opening not only the navel chakra, but through all chakras that correspond to, shall we say, certain blockages. When you look at the root chakra, the first chakra, you're looking at the nature of, again, survival. Through the nature of feeling that you need to survive another day, deep fear, deep dependency, deep victim consciousness. You move up into the second chakra, which is commonly referred to as your sexual chakra. And that also has to do with relationships, sexual inadequacy, disharmonious connections, the feeling, that sense of not being able to govern your creativity. You see, these particular chakras do have particular blockages within them. And in order for them to be remedied, you need to facilitate them. And you're using something like Om Japa, where you're simply just mentally Om chanting directly into each chakra to open them up. And with considerable amounts of practice, that will take place. You will notice changes within yourself, that all of these fears, these anger, the sadness, these traumas now start to subside one by one because of the work that you're putting in, not only to work together with the chakras, but also being able to remedy the intensities of energies that you're experiencing. All right. We thank you, Samar, for your question. Okay. Thank you for your question. We do have a donation-based question here, so I'm going to go up to that one. This one here is from David. David says, Adronis, will any biblical prophecies come true? If yes, which ones? Okay, one moment. We thank you very much, David, for your question. Well, here's the thing that you have to understand about your Bible. What is commonly misconstrued is believing that the Bible is referring to literal events when it's not. All right? When you're looking at your Bible, it is not meant to be seen as a historical document. Many of you see it in that way. When you're looking, for example, at the book of Revelations, you refer to the, shall we say, prophecies that are coming forward that actually represent much more about what's happening inside the human soul, rather than what you think is happening throughout the world. The idea of swords being lifted up nation against nation, well, that is representing the idea of your own body. That's representing your own ego thoughts. That's representing the polarity of yourself that is at war with yourself because you cannot attain peace. The earth only reflects an externality of that idea. When you're seeing actual nations lifting up swords against nations, you have seen that in the external, yes, but that's not really what's being discussed here. The external is only a gateway, a reflector to what is actually happening within yourselves. The Bible truly represents itself as an occult book, helping you to understand what is causing the turmoil within yourself so that you can release that turmoil and go all the way up to God. That's what the Bible signifies. It is not meant to be a prediction device for the ways of the world. It isn't meant to function in that way. It is talking about you. It is humans' journey to God. That's the nature of the entire Bible. So we would not condone the idea of looking at anything pertaining to biblical prophecy relating to what's happening on your earth right now. There may be some similarities, but that's not what is intended through the Bible. The Bible intends to connect you back into the divine. It is teaching you how to open the right hemisphere of the brain. It's telling you about all of these alchemical formulas that are within you, that when you start to raise them, you will connect to the Holy of Holies. Do you know what Israel really represents? Do you think, again, that it represents the term of, shall we say, the fighting with God or the confusion surrounding God or anything of that nature? That's not what it means. Israel, Isis, Ra, El, God spirit, God mind, God body. That's what Israel means. It is connecting to the gods of your culture, from Isis to Amen-Ra to El, like you would find in the names of many angels, Mikael, Uriel, etc. This is a combination of harmonizing the spirit, harmonizing the mind, harmonizing the body. It's not about a physical place on your planet. It is a message to yourself. It is a reflection back to yourself that Israel, the land that flows with milk and honey, is not a physical place on your planet. It is not referring to that. It is referring to the upliftment of your own consciousness into higher form, into moving into the right brain. By being able to cast your nets over the right side of the boat, will you receive the greatest harvest. That's also telling you to harvest the potential of the right hemisphere of the brain. So when you look at many of these parables, these songs that are in the Bible, a lot of them are referring to the struggles that humankind faces pertaining to their own thoughts and their own ego. And that when they're able to uplift those, they are now able to go into the holies and holies. They're able to now see the land that is overflowing with milk and honey, the pineal gland and the pituitary gland. That the 144,000 that are spoken of in the Bible deals with your 12 bodily systems and the 12,000 cells contained within those systems that activate when you move into inner alchemical practices that are helping you to harmonize your being, moving you into the right hemisphere of the brain. Has nothing to do with a select 144,000 people on your planet. That is wrong. Has nothing to do with that. This is talking about cells. This is talking about your bodily systems. So we have given you a few examples here. And we are not telling you that this is in relationship to what is literally happening on your planet. That is what the uninitiated think. And that's why the Bible is a coded teaching. It protects its teachings from the uninitiated. Because the uninitiated will read the Bible and they will think that all these things are happening are what's taking place on the planet now. It's not to say that that's wrong, but all of these things are happening now because it's happening through you. You have to see yourself that you are the one that's holding the lens here. Nothing is holding the lens beyond you. So when you're looking at the reflection of the world, you're seeing yourself. And the Bible is attempting to teach you that. But it can really only be taught to those who know how to speak its language. And you have to be initiated to understand its language. And you have people who know how to speak the Bible language. And we would suggest you listen to them. Because they will tell you the truth about what the Bible represents. Has nothing to do with worldly predictions at all. Reflections that you can see, yes, they do parallel. But what you're going through is your own struggles, your own challenges, your own lifting up swords against nations. That's your body. That's the poisons within. That's the viruses. That's the garbage that is contained within your body that represents the filth of an egoic mind. And you're learning to clean it out. Just as we have taught, just as the Bible will teach you. So this is the real way of looking at the Bible, not as a literary document or a historical document, but the idea of a coded teaching that is helping you, if you can know what every part of it means, telling you how to go all the way up to God. That's the purpose of the Bible. So we hope that makes sense to you. We thank you for your question. Okay. Thank you very much, David. So yes, that's something I've been talking about for quite some time as well, is that the Bible is not meant to be seen as some type of literary, or again, some people just think that Adam and Eve are real. Guys, Adam and Eve was not even a person. Okay. Adam and Eve represent aspects of your own being. Adam representing the flesh or the physical body, Eve representing the emotions, right? That's what Adam and Eve represent. They represent you. They're not physical people on this planet, okay? There was no literal Adam or Eve. That's a myth. Adam and Eve is speaking about your body. It's speaking about everything that represents your body, your emotions, your physicality, right? The ego. That's the idea. So this is what I mean, is that the uninitiated will come in and they'll start reading the Bible and they think that these things are literal. Where's the Garden of Eden? The Garden of Eden represents the right brain. Okay? The Garden of Eden, heaven, representing the right brain, the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God, all representing the right brain. This is an anatomy of ancient alchemy that is telling you this through parable stories. In actuality, many of the characters in the Bible don't even really exist. There was no Adam, there was no Eve, right? There really was no Melchizedek. There really was no, what was the other guy's name? Solomon, okay? A lot of those are fictional characters, but they were being used as a parable to helping people elevate their consciousness as they learn to work with the literal translations of what this Bible is trying to teach you for you to move back into the heavenly kingdom of God, hence the right hemisphere of the brain. That's what this is all about. You don't believe me? You need to go talk to some of these Bible experts. One of them I can recommend that has been doing this since the 1980s and 1990s is a fellow by the name of William Donahue. Okay, you can find him on YouTube. You can find a lot of his old videos. He's put them up, and brilliant. He is absolutely correct with a lot of the things that he shares. William Donahue. Okay, wonderful stuff. Jordan Maxwell has also talked a lot about that, pertaining to the hidden meanings of the Bible. You guys really know what the Bible is all about? It's an astrological book. It's all about astrology. It's all about numerology. It's all about occultism. The very things that Christians shun against. So, oh my God, astrology, that's the way of the demon. You realize that the Bible is all about astrology? You guys know that? Right? It's all about astrology. It's all about numerology. It's all about these occult teachings. It's all about inner alchemy to bringing you into the right hemisphere of the brain to go home to God. That's the Bible. That's what it is. That's what it is, literally. Okay? So the uninitiated will believe it to be something of a prophetic book that is basically trying to outline what's happening right now. It's not to say that it doesn't coincide with that, but that's not its purpose. It's for you, not the idea of literal translations of prophecies that are happening around the world. Okay, so look into it more, and I would suggest you look into that expert. He has an incredible mind of looking into the true secrecies of the Bible and exposing them. It's wonderful. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. So thank you, David, for your question. Let's go ahead and move on here. Okay. Okay, this one here is from Darling. Darling says, Brad, you've probably been asked before, but will this new pandemic they're trying to push, while there's several of them, will it actually take hold in Canada soon? It's not to say that they're not going to push for it, but honestly, guys, I don't see another lockdown happening. I've looked into this, and like I said, I'm only giving you guys my perspective here, but I have not seen anything in regards to another lockdown. They're going to try and push for it because, like I said, they've really been pushing the monkeypox, and they're trying to push all these other viruses because these are means of control. The people are losing their faith in the systems, and they're not going to work. This is what I mean, right? We're on the verge of seeing the old being completely and totally exposed, being completely and totally decimated. So this is the trickery that's taking place. So are you going to hear about it a lot? Yes. Are you going to see attempts of this trying to happen? Yes. Is this going to happen actually lead to another global lockdown? I doubt it. Okay. Like I said, they can't try the same thing twice. They've already done that. And there's already countries that have laws put in place that they will not shut down their countries based on the idea of a pandemic. Okay. So there's already laws that are being put in place that countries won't do that anymore. A lot of them. Canada is actually one of them. They actually have that particular law right now that they will not shut down the country based on that. This is what I mean. All of that is not going to work. It's not going to fly. But they will certainly try to push it. Oh, monkeypox here, or swine flu here, or SARS here, whatever it may be. They have all these cooked up viruses in laboratories. But you know what? Many of their laboratories have been destroyed. So where they're cooking these things up, I really don't know. To me, it just feels like threats that are just coming out of thin air. And they're just shutting things down for the heck of it because they want to try again attain control for their dying empire. So I really would not put a lot of faith in what they are trying to promise or what they're trying to do. At best, everything that they try to do is short-lived, and then it fizzles out, right? Where it's just too late. It's too late for any of their control tactics right now. Every single one of them will have a very short lifespan because they're finished. People do not trust the system anymore. It's like I've said, that these particular corrupted, dirty players have created the very awakening that they were afraid of the most. They are afraid of free speech, and that's happening tremendously right now. They're afraid of these new leaders that are siding together with the people, and that's happening right now. They're afraid of all of these things that are taking place that is just going to basically implode their empire. These guys are finished. They're done. Do not take at hand what they think that they're going to try and bring about to you that is going to interfere with you living life. Okay? They've had their time. They are finished. And like I said, if you don't believe me, you can look into this yourself. But that's really what's happening. They're just basically clamoring on to the last little fragments and pieces of their empire that's already imploding. You're watching the explosions of their empire, rather I'd say the implosions, the taking down from the inside of their empire already happening. You're already seeing it, right? And they're just trying to gather up all the pieces. So we still got this, we still got this. No, it's going to fall apart, okay? They do not have a future. They have reaped everything that they could reap on this planet, and the world will not put up with their reaping anymore. They have nothing left to reap. All they're doing right now is that they're going from reaping to weeping, okay? That's their transition, because especially with my conversations with the earth, she is not putting up with any more of their BS. She will shut them down, right? If that means that she has to create little tremors into where they're holding themselves, whatever it takes to expose them, she's working with them. And like I said, the pure consciousness of the earth is working together with these higher alliances. It's working with the human guardians, working with these higher alliances. These particular corrupt parasites on the planet are being hunted down. Okay, they're not just sitting in a little booth or sitting in some gigantic house being untouched. They are constantly on the run. They are constantly fighting for their lives. And we have task force, we have agencies that are working in much more higher places that are hunting every single one of them down. They are basically panicking for dear life. Saying that they're urinating themselves or defecating themselves out of fear is an understatement, right? And they are just running and scrambling. They're like cockroaches. They keep trying to hide under all these things, but eventually all of them are going to get caught. So I would not put too much faith in the idea of what they're trying to do. Now, to basically finalize that, why don't I pull out the tarot? Okay, and we'll look at that. We'll say, is there another world lockdown coming soon? Okay. I've already looked at it, but for posterity's sake, why don't we look at the tarot and see what the tarot says? Okay. Is there another worldwide lockdown coming soon? Okay. So in front of the scenes, this is what they're pushing. They're trying to do it. They're trying to make it happen. But look at how much effort they're trying to do to try and push it out. They're ready to fall under. They're ready just to buckle and collapse. Oh, we can't do this anymore. We're done. Oh, gotta do it. Right? They're pushing for this agenda, and they're trying so hard. But again, there's so much weight, and it's going to collapse under their own weight. Right? And the hope and fear is no. That's not going to happen, right? It is all going to, it's just going to be implosion. It's an implosion taking place right now. No, people are coming together. No one's going to buy it. No one's going to buy into it. People have completely and totally lost faith in the system. It is broken. It is destroyed. It is imploding, right? So from what I can see here, this is the second card here, right? They're in a bind. These are basically the creators that are trying to bring about that new virus, that new idea. They're stuck, right? They're trapped between a rock and a hard place. And like I said, they are dying off. It's over. The alarms have sounded. Judgment is now upon them, and they are done. Okay? And that judgment represents the idea of many of these other agencies, these agencies in higher places, as I can call them, are basically just taking them down one by one, maybe even larger and larger amounts as well too. I do not see that happening at all. Okay, and I've had quite a few people over the years tell me, "Oh, Brad, there's going to be another lockdown. There's going to be another lockdown." I say, "No, sorry, there isn't, because people aren't going to fall for it." And we've had people thinking that it's going to happen the previous summer, and it didn't. They thought it was going to happen this summer, and it didn't. Right? And it's like I said, no, guys, I'm sorry, it's not going to fly. I don't know if you guys want that. Do you want another lockdown? Right? Well, of course not. Well, then that's why you need to start saying, rather than, is this going to happen? How about you put your foot down and saying, through all the energy that I am, there's no way that this is going to happen. And that matters. That's going into the grid. When you say, no matter what happens, I will not let them do anything of that nature. I will say no. That makes a big impact. Okay. Rather than wondering about whether these things are happening right now, put your foot down, right? Be steadfast with that idea. Okay. Thank you, darling, for your question. Okay, let's go to another donation-based question here. This is from Chris. Chris says, when will there be a cleanup for regional government of Nunavik to free the people from the federal government Ponzi eco scams? It's like I said, Chris, the people have to come together. It's not just the idea of a handout, right? People have to come together. They need to work together. And this is what's going to instigate change. Change will come through the people. It's not going to come through your support systems. The people that start coming into the support systems are the people who are like you, right? And that will come in time. But first of all, these particular systems need to break down. The pillars need to implode upon themselves. So when will there be a cleanup? The cleanup's already happening. There's a lot of cleanup right now, but we have to do our part. Our job is to unify. Our job is to come together with people who are also sick and tired of the old regime. When that happens, change happens abundantly. This is it. We all think that this is going to be handed to us. That, okay, the government's going to take it. Guys, the government's the problem, right? The support systems that we have right now are the problem. Why are you trying to resolve a problem at the same level the problem exists through these agencies? It doesn't work. They have to die. They have to collapse. They have to implode. Once they implode, the people start rebuilding them. And now there is an ethical nature about the agencies that are on our planet. The leaders that we elect are sympathetic and empathetic to who you are. The new leaders come in because they're part of the people, right? They are not part of special interest groups. They are not part of corporations. They're not part of big tech. They're not part of these big name firms or anything of that nature. That is not in essence with the people, right? The leaders that are coming are going to be the leaders that are completely and totally simpatico with the people. Those are the leaders that are coming. Okay. And we will also notice that a lot of the indigenous people, a lot of the First Nations, a lot of the Native Americans will actually have positions of authority in the future. Okay. And I've talked about this quite strongly, that a lot of the original inhabitants of this land are going to be the ones that are going to move themselves back into positions of higher authority. But before that can happen, we got to get the riffraff out of here. And that's what the people have to demand. We are not going to tolerate a leader like this who poisons us, who tries to get us to fight each other, who's trying to poison the earth, who is just trying to get us to butt heads with each other. We don't want a leader like that. And we will refuse to move until that leader is out of here. There's progress. Okay. That's what this is all about. Do not rely on governments to free you. That is an illusion. And that is a pain. Okay. That is suffering. You're relying on an agency to free your people. Why would you think like that? The people will free the people. Okay? It's not up to a government. Government's corrupt. Right? That has to fall. In order for that to fall, the people have to stand up. They become resilient. They become steadfast. You do not rely on a corrupt system to fix you. You do not rely on a corrupt system to think that that's going to liberate you. That is a pipe dream. And that's wrong thinking. We have to be the change. Because if that was the case, if what you're saying here about a government to liberate people, don't you think that'd be happening over in the UK right now? No. Do you know what's really happening in the UK? Takeover. That's what they want. They're getting all these illegal migrants coming in. A lot of them are just brutal criminals, murderers, rapists, and everything. And look at the chaos that they're causing in the UK. Do you think that if it was all about the government to liberate the people, that would be happening? Wake up, my friends. That's not the answer. The answer is you. The answer is the people. The answer is people staying steadfast, working together, and saying, we will not tolerate any more of this. The system is broken and we stand up. And now free speech becomes abound. They're terrified of that. They're terrified when you speak freely. They're terrified when you're standing up and you're not following their agendas. That scares the crap out of them. And now you're doing this to the greatest extent that you can as a collective. They die because they can't control you now. And now the government remains a husk. And guess what happens? It's up to the people to rebuild that husk and put something into it that is ethical, that is just, that is fair, and that respects everybody's rights and privileges of being sovereign. That is what makes the change. The government that is here right now is going to screw you over because they don't give a shit about you. And that's the truth. And in order for us to actually realize that, you look around what's happening on the entire planet. Doesn't matter if it's a regional government, if it's a country-based government, whatever it may be, a federal government, it's all the same. They all answer to the big boss. They all answer to the head honchos. The head honchos have to go down until all that remains of the government is a husk. And we rebuild it. We rebuild it country by country, region by region, municipality by municipality. They all answer to the big brother. Big brother has to fall. Okay? So what I would suggest everyone is you get out of this mentality of thinking that the government is going to save you. Government doesn't give a damn about you. They just want you to fall in line. They want your resources. They want to drain you dry. Why do you think they're taxing the living crap, especially here in Canada, out of us? Everything's a tax. Do you think that's coming from a loving, compassionate government? No, that's coming from a government that's broken. They have failed. It is a broken system. So I hope I'm hammering that into you very well, not just through Chris here, but through everybody else. It's a broken system, and it needs to be left alone to die so that something new can come together and be birthed that has that ethical quality to it that we put into it as the people. Because we're looking at people-powered organizations. We're looking at people-powered government. That's the government of the future. Those are the organizations of the future. Those are the agencies of the future. Everything's people-run, right? So that can be hard to look at because we've been so used to being enamored with how the government support systems are here. They've been nothing but corrupt for the last several hundred years. And now they're dying. Let them die, so that the husk is there and we can rebuild it. Okay? Thank you, Chris, for your question. Okay, so guys, just a reminder, I don't do personal questions, so please don't ask me for personal questions, even if you have a donation, okay? There's no personal questions that are being answered here on this webcast, all right? Okay, so let's move on. Okay, I'm just going back to where I was previously, okay. Okay, I'm just kind of going down the questions here, guys. We only have a few minutes left, so looking for some good ones, maybe something I haven't tackled before. Okay, here's an interesting one here from Ben. Ben says, greetings, Brad. In 2021, a German man said that the cosmic war for the Milky Way was already over and that the forces of darkness are defeated. If that was true, why are we going through all the stuff we're going through right now, Ben? If that was true, would UK be going through the stuff that it's going through right now? If that was true, would you be taxed to high heaven where you're living right now? Is that true? No. You're talking about one man who has a perspective, and that's fine. I have a perspective, okay? Just happens that when I'm sharing these perspectives, it may resonate with a lot more people. Say, well, if it was true and all the forces of darkness are gone, then why are we having all this stuff on the planet right now? Now, what I can say to reiterate that is that, as I've talked about in the past, the light has already prevailed because we're much stronger right now. Because people are coming together, we're unifying, right? And because of all the people that are backing that, we have already prevailed. But we still have to go through the transitional times. So to a degree, I can agree in some ways, but it's not about the idea, oh, there's no darkness and it's all been defeated. It's not that it's been defeated, it's that it's being overwhelmed, right? The light is shining much more brighter than the darkness can hold upon itself. So in that way, that is already representing a victory, okay? But you're still going to be going through heavy challenges. So if it was completely and totally defeated and everything's done, you would have the idea of new systems in place. You would not have all this stuff that's been happening, particularly since 2021, right? Specifically for the last 3 years, because this has been the intense time. 2020s has been the most intense decade of any other in recorded history of our modern times, I should say. Right? That is the most intense time because look at what's been happening just for these past near 4 years alone, right? So everything is happening the way it is because you're right, the darkness is dying out. And I'm not disagreeing with that. That's very true. That's what I've just been saying. Everything's imploding, but it's still ensuing. It's still taking place, right? We're not out of the woods yet. There will be a time where we will be. Right? And I think that's leaning much more towards the 2030s. 2020s is a cleanup decade. Adronis has said this constantly. I've said this, relating to the idea of the 2020s being a cleanup decade. So we have a lot of cleanup to do. We have a lot of exposures to do. We have to see, it's basically that you're kind of giving a platform for the dirty players to throw all their crap in there so that every single one of us can see what they're all about. We can now admit that everything pertaining to their systems is broken, and now we want something new. We want a significant change, and that's going to come through the people. So there certainly is a momentum, and that would be the idea. That's the word that I would use rather than defeat, okay? There is a momentum of the light coming together that is practically unstoppable. Okay, and that is going to lead to pure and total victory of the light. And we're right about that. But it still needs to play itself out. Okay, so you have all this light shining upon the earth, beautiful, powerful light, but that light needs to go to work. It needs to go upon those dark castles, those dark structures, and break them apart. And that's what's happening right now. We're seeing the effect of the true power of the light that's coming upon the planet that is victorious. So with that, I agree. With the idea in that sense of saying everything's already done, everything's already defeated, no. If that was the case, we'd be looking at a very different Earth right now. It's in the process of being defeated because there's a momentum of that powerful light that's coming here. So that I agree with, okay? So again, everybody has their own perspectives. They'll look at that, they'll receive this information. Because a lot of this information doesn't come through language, they're trying to process it. But if they still have a lot of ego filters intact, their ego filters will misconstrue the information that they're getting cosmically. Their cosmic information is coming from the right side of the brain and coming through the filters of the left brain, while there's still ego faculties in the left brain, and they're misconstruing this information. Unfortunately, a lot of people do this, right? They haven't bypassed their ego filters. And they basically are trying to hear more about what they want to hear rather than what's actually being said. And I catch people like that all the time. Okay. So to them, I would just say the translator just needs to get more of their ego out of the way. When they actually get their ego out of the way, because this is a message that I've been hearing for years, is that yes, the light is strong. Yes, the light is powerful. Yes, the light is coming upon the earth. but there's a momentum happening, and everything needs to play out together in the state of sequence. It's not instantaneous, okay? And that's the part that they're missing, because this is something I've had to catch myself quite a few times. Okay, so it's a momentum, it's a significator, it's coming through transition. Yes, exactly. I see what you mean. And I had to get that kind of correction too. So that's something important. We have to kind of get the ego out of the way, because the ego buffers these things, and people are just wanting to hear what they want to hear. And then they start shouting from the rooftops, "Hey guys, the war is over, war's over, we're all done." Well, why are we going through all this stuff? So, oh, I don't know, but I've just been told it's over. Like, no, you've misheard. Okay, you're misconstruing things because your ego wants to hear what it wants to hear. Okay, so it's a transition, it's a progression, right? It's transitional, and we are definitely basically there, but it still needs to be brought into fruition. Okay, thank you, Ben, for your question. Okay, I think we'll take about 1 or 2 more questions. I'm going to kind of scroll down to the more closer to the bottom of the page now. Okay. So, Jan, I do see your question here about the spirits of the elements. That's just a really big question. I just don't think we have time for that today. If you're part of the Adronis Patreon, you could ask that question. That would be a good thing to ask. But we're basically almost running out of time here. So it's just going to be too big of a question for Adronis to talk on. You can find a lot of the information, especially through these websites that talk about the spirits of the air, fire, water, and earth, right? Spirit is in everything, and that's the most important. So what I'll do is maybe give you a quick sum up. Spirit is in everything, okay? It is in every single feeling that you have. It is in every single emotion that you have. It is in every form of meaning that we have. There is a spirit for that, okay? It is the one spirit, really. So we do have the spirits of the sub-elements, okay? When you're looking at the 4 elements, earth, air, fire, water, those aren't the true elements, my friends. There's one element. You guys know what the one element is? It's the ether, okay? Just like I said, there is one sense. It's not see, smell, taste, touch, and hear. Do you guys know what the one sense is? It's awareness, okay? So you have one element, the ether, and you have one sense, awareness. That's all there is. You basically just have 2 particular geometries in all of creation. Do you guys know what those are? The torus and the hyperboloid, the donut and the hourglass. That's it. Anything else, any other particular shape or geometry is a rendition of those 2. So we have 2 geometries. Really, those geometries are really just one. When you're looking at a whole hypertoroid, you're looking at one, right? The hourglass in its negative capacity represents the torus, and in its negative represents the hourglass, the hyperboloid. So it really just comes down to one. Everything comes back to the one. So when we're looking at sub-elements, which air, fire, earth, and water are, right? They always are wielding to the nature of the ether, okay? But spirit is in all meanings. Everything that we give meaning to, everything that we give life to through our expressions, there is spirit, right? Even goes back to the Upanishads, right? Even when the Upanishads would say that there is a spirit in that water, and I honor that spirit as Brahman, okay? And just says to everything in regards to there is a spirit in the shadow, and that spirit I adore as Brahman. There is a spirit in the sky, and that spirit I adore as Brahman. There is a spirit in the fire, and that spirit I adore as Brahman. Okay? So that's the idea of the Upanishads, telling you about the spirit that exists in everything that is meaningful through life. There's a spirit for all, and that spirit I adore as Brahman. So something to look at. So that's what I can do kind of in a laser, quick, super sharp answer for you. All right. Thank you, Jim. Okay, let's go with one more question, guys. I'm going to wrap up. Okay. Okay, just going down the list a bit more here. Yeah, we have a comment here in regards to the Bible regarding Adam and Eve. Represents the twin flames. Sorry to tell you, my friend, but it doesn't. Okay, when you're actually looking at the actual translation of the Bible from how the Bible actually puts Adam and Eve, has nothing to do with twin flames. That is a belief. Okay. The reason I'm telling you this is because when you actually understand the Bible codes for what it actually means, has nothing to do with soulmates, has nothing to do with twin flames. You are misinformed. And I'm only telling you that because the Bible has a certain language to it. Has nothing to do with that. Adam is like looking at the atom, right? It's looking at the physicality of the body. When you're looking at Eve, Eve represents the nature of emotions, right? She is the emotions. And you're bringing that together. And that is where you have the transfixion of the whole being. I'm telling you that, Edgardo, because that is the translation directly of how the Bible intended it to be seen. Has nothing to do with twin flames, has nothing to do with soulmates, because Adam and Eve are not real people. They are archetypes. That's the nature of it. This is just what the Bible is saying, my friends. It's not coming through my belief. Okay? A lot of that stuff are where you think, oh, there's Adam and Eve, and there's Lilith, and then there's Adam and Eve was a clone. Guys, that's a bunch of crap. Okay, no offense, but that's a bunch of garbage. That's coming from the uninitiated. If you are truly initiated in understanding the Bible's code, there is something that is right and there is something that is incorrect, because that's all part of the alchemy of the Bible. It does have meanings. And if you're trailing off, besides looking at Adam and Eve in the nature of the whole being, then you're misconstruing it. That's not coming from me. That's coming from the literal translations of the Bible. That comes through the research. That comes from the language of it. Adam and Eve are aspects of the whole being, nothing more. Okay? You have to look into that. This is not coming from belief. This is coming from fact. Okay? Okay, one last question here. Okay, let's end with this one here, because I have talked about O-negative blood. I actually happen to be an O-negative blood myself, so... Brad, is O-negative blood mean you're mixed with extraterrestrial? Well, it can. It basically just means that you have an absence of the rhesus gene, right? Which basically is found through earthly creatures or earthly genetic archetypes in that particular way, okay? So the O-negative can represent that it does have extraterrestrial descent. What I would suggest you do is on my YouTube channel, you can just type in RH negative, because Adronis actually did a video on it a while back, and he explains it in great detail. You're on the right track, but there's a reason why there is the absence of the rhesus gene. Okay, so you can look into that. Thank you, everybody. We're out of time for today. Really appreciate all of your questions. It was wonderful. All right, I hope everything that was shared here today was helpful for you. Please feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. This is always helping the channel a lot too, just so we can get this information out there a lot more. So I'll be back tomorrow with the signposts at 9 a.m. Pacific time. We're going to be looking at more current events on the signposts tomorrow. All right. Blessings to you all. Thank you very much, everybody. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care. Namaskar. May it be well with you. Bye for now.